This is what I call a scalloped tab mini book. This is kind of the picture of the what it should look like when it's done. What it is it has a scalloped cover and then a little scalloped decoration on the cover, and then it has tabs in the book, each one having its own page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 pages, and then the very back page has all the scallops on it to kind of support that scalloped edge. And so this is what I'm going to show you how to do using a number of the tools in Make the Cut. So we'll get started. The first thing I do, I have 2 Make the Cuts. Look at this. Okay. The first thing I want to do is get a circle from the basic shapes. So circles are under the miscellaneous tab of basic shapes. Isn't that right? Circle?
Sorry,
miscellaneous,
yes. You can also do a find, do a search on the Find tab.
So I double click on the circle to get it on the screen, and I'm going to double click it again because I need 2 circles. And then I'll need some other shapes, but I'll get those a little bit later. First, we're going to work with the circles. I need 1 circle that is 1 3/4 inches, and so I'm going to leave my lock in the gold locked position and type in 1.75 and enter. And this gives me a circle that is 1 3/4 inches in diameter. And then I want this other circle to be 0.6 inches in diameter, and this is going to help me form the scallops. So you can use this technique if you ever want to make scallops. There are different ways to make them. I suppose I could have used some other shapes, but this works. So what I'm going to do is hold the Control key down and drag this top circle over the big circle until the cursor changes to the 3 shapes. And when I release the mouse and the Control key, I get a window open here, which is Wrap Objects to Path. And what I want to do is wrap a number of these circles around the top half of the big circle. So to do that, first I'm going to change the offset so that the little circle is about halfway up, and then the vertical alignment, I want the little circle to overlap about halfway. So about 46% to 50% would be fine. And I don't really need any spacing between them. I might want to change the offset. If you want to change it just a little, you can click on that and then use your arrow key to move it. I think that'll do it. And then I want a number of these circles. So I'm going to click on the repeat box and raise that up so that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that how many scallops I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's about right. But I see I need to get my offset so that they're centered a little bit more. I'm going to change my vertical alignment to about 50, and spacing, that's what it is, 0 spacing. That'll put them a little closer, and then the offset I'll move just a hair till they're pretty equal. And this is going to make the scalloped tabs for me. My arrow buttons don't seem to be working very well. There they are. I'm using my left arrow key to get this right down to about 50%. You notice that Well, the more I use my arrow key, the more even I'm getting, but I want the vertical alignment to be a little.
You should be able to use your arrow key on the vertical alignment as well.
Yeah, there it goes. So I want it to be maybe about 46. There we go. Now it's looking pretty much the way I want it. It's not exactly even, but I could always rotate this after it's done. So this is my tabbed shape, and if I select it all, I'm going to accept this. If I select it all, you can kind of see where all the lines are and how they're overlapping. And ultimately, I do want to weld these, but I like to save this kind of as is for referring to later. So I'm going to copy this, edit, copy, and then open a new page here. And I'm just going to paste that same and paste in place. And this one I pasted in place. I'll select it all, and then I'm going to weld it. So here's the weld icon here. Your Shape Magic toolbar may be somewhere else on your screen, but you find the weld icon here and just weld it. So now I have my shape tab. So let's look at the finished picture again. We see that's going to be this portion that I'm going to put on all the different pages. So the next thing I want to do is this is on its own layer, but now I'm going to do a new layer by clicking on the large green plus icon at the lower right side of the screen to get a new layer. And now when I add something, it's going to go on that new layer. I'm going to go again to my basic shapes, and this time I want a rectangle with rounded corners. So we have a rectangle like that somewhere in here. Rectangle. Polygons. It is a polygon. There's a rectangle. Maybe it's under miscellaneous. Aha. This is what I want my page to look like. So I'm going to double click on the rounded rectangle twice because I want one to be my page and one to be a little tab at the top of the page. Now my page, I would like to be able to, in my book, I'll show you a picture of my book again, in between each of these tabs I have used 8.5 by 11-inch sheets and just cut off an inch, so 8.5 by 10.5 papers to fill in between the tabs a section of my book. I think I ended up with a 60-page book by the time I was done. It turned out really nice. And I just used 8.5 by 11 cardstock to fill the book. I trimmed off that 1 inch. So coming back here, I want to make this page to be with the width, I want it to be 10.5 inches, and the height I want to be, I'm going to make it 9 inches because this is the cover. And then make sure the lock is in the green open position and press enter. When I press enter, then the page, the shape resizes. And it's, you notice it's on its own layer and it has this little thing here. Now the reason that I made it this size is when I cut out these pages with the tabs, they're going to take a full 12 by 12 sheet or 11.5, 11.4, whatever the cutter cuts. So I don't want to make it bigger than what my cutter can handle. So this is a little tab here, and I'm going to just drag it down so that it covers up and click my arrow key to the right so it kind of lines up with my page here. I can hold the shift and I can see that these two pretty much line up. And now I'm going to weld these two together because that's I'll show you the picture again, that's this portion of the design here. So now I'm going to weld by clicking on the weld icon, and I have my basic cover shape here. I wanted my cover to be kind of fancy, so I'm going to take another little circle and again resize it to 0.6 with the lock on, 0.6. And now I'm going to wrap it around my book by my cover by holding the control key first, clicking on the small circle and dragging it till the cursor changes there, and it changed here to the square, circle, and triangle, and release, and it opens the wrap again. Again, I want my vertical alignment to be, well, it looks like it's about right, and I'm going to do a repeat until, with a 0 distance, until that circle wraps around. Now, vertical alignment, again, about 46%. It's about right with 0 spacing. And I'm going to keep just wrapping this around until I get my little circles all the way around. I don't know when it's going to end here. Let's see if I have enough. Oops, not quite. Looks like I need to, I'm going to copy and paste in place a few more so they're all the way around, and then make this a little smaller so we can see it all. I'm going to hide this layer that has my scallop tab on it, and now I just have all the pieces to my cover. So I'm just going to drag my selection tool around all of them. You can adjust the positions of some of these. I think maybe this one needs a little change here. You can adjust them the way you like. Maybe this one needs to move over a little. So I'm just using my arrow key to move these into position. I could always delete any that I don't. Maybe this one's a little extra. Kind of spread them out a little if I don't like how they went automatically. That looks okay. I'm going to select them all now and weld using the weld icon, or you could type Control W to weld them all in shape. So now I have my basic cover. What color did I make my cover? Oh, a nice pink. Well, I could make this a nice pink by right-clicking, change the color texture, and select a color. And I think I like this color. It's a little dark though, so I'm going to slide this little arrow up here to make it a little lighter, and then click OK. And now I have my pink cover. The next thing that I wanted to do was to make a basic page for my scallops, and what I'm going to do for that is, again, I'm going to close this cover shape, and I'm going to select this layer here that's now empty, and again add my page to it. Oops, I wanted my basic shapes again, and I'm going to use that rounded rectangle, double click on it, and make my page. First unlock it so the green is showing on the lock, and making my page 10.5 inches wide and 9 inches tall. Now to this page, I want to place it where all the way to the left without getting into the no-cut zone. And maybe I should make the cover kind of go there too, because when we're done we want to see how this is going to look. So it's covering up my page pretty well, so I'm going to hide that now. And now I'm going to show this layer here. And what I want to do is bring that forward to the front. So I'm going to click on this green arrow until it comes to the top there. And I'm going to be adding these all the way around my books. I'm going to have 8 pages, so I think I'm going to go ahead and make many of these pages here. I'm going to make 8 of them. I have 1. So I'm going to copy it and paste in place as Control-Shift-V. So I'm going to paste in place. So now I have 2. Now I'm just going to do Control-Shift-V, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1 more for the back. I think that's 9 pages. Did I get lots of them now? Yeah. Okay, so I have lots of them here. And I need to make a number of these too, these scallop shapes, because I want a tab for each page. So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to go to duplicate. And I have 4 of them there. That looks pretty good. And then I need 4 more, so maybe I'll do 8. Yeah. And these I can line up on the sides. Oh, only trouble is, let me undo, Control-Z, my favorite friend here. I'm selecting these, and I'm going to not mirror them, but I'm going to do a rotate clockwise 90 degrees. So now I can just put them all into position on the side. And what I want to do is line them up so that these scallops are kind of even with the edge there. And I don't want them going into the no-cut zone here, so let me move it over a little. You can judge by what your cutter will handle where you want to place these. Okay, so now I have a number of pages here, and I have a number of tabs. So my what I want to do is, if I show you the page here, we see that those tabs will look pretty good with the cover. So I'm going to close that. Now for my back page, I kind of want to take these shapes here and the cover shape, which was here. I'm holding the Shift key and I'm selecting all of these. I wonder if this will work. I want to make a shadow layer for the back page, and I kind of want it, yes, and I'm going to apply a blackout. I want it just a little bigger than the page itself. And then I'm going to apply the blackout and accept and see what happens. Last time I tried this, it crashed. But oh, look at that. I'm going to hide everything. This is the visible toggle, so I'm going to hide everything. And I'm just going to show this page. You think that's it? Did I get my shadow? Well, we'll find out. So I'm ready now to maybe, I don't know that it made my back page, which is what I wanted to do with that, making that shadow. So let's see if it did. Oh, there it is. Look at that. This is my back page, so it's slightly bigger than everything else. And what I'm going to do is send this to the bottom. What color was my back page? It was a navy blue. So I'm going to change the color of that layer to a really dark blue. It's not dark enough though. So if you want to do a custom color, you click on custom color, and I'll get the darkest blue, and I'll just make it even a little darker by sliding down that arrow and OK. So now this I'm going to send to its own layer by clicking on the small plus, and then right-clicking on the layer name and move to the bottom. So now it's behind everything, out of my way, and I'm just going to hide it. So now I can go back to my layers with the pages and the tabs. This is kind of a fun part. What I'm going to do is select a scallop tab, hold the Shift key and select a page and weld. And after it's welded, I can change a color, or I could wait until the end. See, this one's going to be pink, so I'll just right-click, change color texture, select it, and I'm going to make it pink like the cover, but very, very pale. And OK. So this page can now go to its own layer. I'll just click on the small green plus in the lower right side to send it to its layer, and I'm going to hide the layer as I do it. Now I'm going to click on the next tab and the next page, weld. Check the color is going to be a very light green, so I'm going to right click, change, first I think I better weld first. Page and tab. Did I weld it already? I guess I did. I welded it already. So I'm going to send it to its own layer. And on that layer, again, I'm going to select a very pale green and make it even lighter. And hide that layer. Now I'll select the next scallop tab, the next page, weld, send it to its own layer, and check the color is supposed to be very pale purple. So I'll right click, change the color texture, and find me a light purple and lighten it up even more. Okay, send it to its own layer and hide it. Now just continue around, shift and click, weld, send to its own layer, and that one is blue. So right click, change the color to a light blue. And I'm going to hide that one. Click the next tab, hold Shift, click the page, weld, send to its own layer. What color do I want there? Ooh, nice rose color. Right click, change color texture, select color. I'll make this a darker. No, let me make it that color. And hide that layer. Click the next one, click the page, weld, send to its own layer, right click, change color. What color did I make this one? Green. And hide that one. Now, same thing, click the tab, hold a Shift, click the page, weld, send to its own layer, right click, change color. Let's see, what color was this one? Purple. You can pick your own favorite colors. And I'll hide that one, and then click this one, hold Shift, click the page, Weld, send to its own layer, and this one was blue, so change the color to medium blue, and hide that layer. Now I want to check out my bottom layer to make sure. I think I'm going to show, first of all, get rid of all the empty layers by clicking on the trash can. Then I'm going to click on the eye to show all, and now I can kind of get an idea of what this might look like. Not too bad, but my cover needs to be on the front. So I'm going to right-click on this cover layer and move to top. So then I have my basic book here, and if I want to, I can add several holes here so that if I want to put jump rings in it, that the holes will cut when I cut the pages. But I'm going to put them on their own layer so that if I don't want to do holes and I want to use my bind it all instead, I don't have to use the holes to cut. So I'll add a new layer right now, this large green plus at the bottom to add a new layer. Make sure that I've got it selected. And I'm going to add a circle, and we'll make this circle, maybe we'll lock the lock to make them about 0.6 in size. Oh, undo, because it just resized my page instead of my circle. There we go, 0.6. That's still kind of big, maybe 0.5. And I'm going to have 3 of these. So what I'm going to do is select it and go to Duplicate under Edit. And I only want 3 of these. Cancel. If you bring it over to the right side of the screen and you go to Duplicate, it'll duplicate them down for you. So I only need 3, and the spacing of, I don't know how many inches, but I'll say 2.5 for now. I can put the top one where I want it to be, then I can put the bottom one, a little arrow down to where I want it to be. Then I can have the software respace it for me once I've kind of have an idea where I want the top and bottom to be. Now I'm going to select them, right-click, align and space, align. Now I want space, and I want to vertically space them evenly. And it spaced them automatically even. And I think now that they're even, I'm going to move them all down a bit by using my down arrow key. And I want to make sure that these should be all on their, yeah, they're all on their own layer here. So once they're there, I'm just going to hide that layer. And now I need the pages to go inside the book. So I'm going to add a new layer here. And on that layer, I'm going to add a rectangle. Just a square, I think, polygon, and make that one 10.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches tall, since that's closer to a standard paper size. 10.5 inches. Oh, I have to undo the lock to make it 10.5 wide. Okay, so I'm going to make that paper maybe kind of rose colored, very light colored, because it's kind of my filler paper. And move it down so it's not showing on my cover. And the last thing that's remaining is the kind of the scalloped edge to go around. And I want to make sure this thing is going to fit on my page. Let me select all, Control A, and see what size it is. Well, it's 11.9 by 10.6. Now this will cut to my cutter. I think I'll move it over a little bit to the left, but if your cutter can only handle 11.4 inches, as some do, then you could just resize the whole thing once it's all selected. You would want to show everything and then resize it so that it will fit on your particular cutter. I would cut mine to my Gazelle, and a Gazelle will handle the full 12 inches. I just need to make sure that it's all within the 12 inches of the page boundaries here. Use my arrow keys. And so to make that little scalloped edge, I could wrap, or I could just duplicate. I think I'll just duplicate some circles, but I'm going to start with a new layer and add some circles. Double click on the circle, and I'll make these circles 1/2 inch, making sure the gold lock is on, and press enter. And I can do this one of several ways. You could wrap it around a square the size you want. I'm just going to go to duplicate, and I'm going to put no space in between. And I think, oh, let's try 20 of them. Well, that's a little bit too many. Maybe 17. That looks about right. And now that I have 17 that are kind of overlapping, hope they're overlapping. What happens if I weld them? I'll go to Weld. Are they all stuck together? I think I should probably, I'm going to try that again. I'm going to delete those. Let me undo that and select one. They didn't weld because they're not overlapping enough. We'll try this again. Okay, get a circle and resize it to 0.5 with the lock on, and enter. And this time I'm going to go to Edit, Duplicate, and I'm going to put a spacing of -0.05. Now they're overlapping. 17, maybe I'll make 18. That's good. Click OK. Now I'm going to duplicate these by copy, paste in place, and then move my duplicate down. I'm going to make sure they're lined up by right-clicking, align in space, align vertically. That wasn't what I wanted. I have to group them before I can do that. So join, join. Now select them both. I don't even want to join them either. See those little holes in them? I'm going to weld them first. That's it. Copy, paste in place, and align. Right-click, align in space, align vertically. Now they're even this way. Now I want to copy this again I want to paste in place again because it's already copied. Control-Shift-V, and I want to flip it horizontally. And I want to copy that. To copy, I'm just doing Control-C to copy. And then to paste in place, Control-Shift-V. And then I want to move this over here. And line it up wherever I want it to be. Now I'm going to just select all of these and weld. Now they're all one piece. What color did I make that? Oh, I made it a light green. So I'm going to send it to its own layer. It's on its own layer already. And change its color to a pale green. And now I'm just going to save it. I probably should have been saving all along if I didn't want to lose it. But I go to File, Save As, and I'm going to save this as tab book. And put my initials in it so I remember that I made this. And save it to my desktop. Now when I'm ready to cut it, I'm going to hide everything by clicking on the eye, hide all, and just opening the page that I want to cut right now. So the page that I might want to cut first would be this color here. So I'd put that on my cutter, and it's only going to cut this green part. So I'll select Cut Project With, and I'll probably do it on my Gazelle. Click on Start, and it will cut. Then when it's done cutting, I'm going to hide that ornament there, and I'm going to show, let's say I want all of my pages to have the holes for the rings. Oh, look at that. The holes don't cover my pages if those pages are here. So I need to make sure this page is lined up with my holes. Not too good. So I'm going to have to redo my holes so that they're going to fit.
Darlene had caught that earlier and said, don't you want to move the holes closer together? So they.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this up a little bit, and I'm going to realign these by going to Align in Space, vertically, and now they're even. That's important, you know, and I like to do test cuts because I find all my mistakes when I do the tests. But so now I know the holes are where they need to be, and I can leave the holes open while I cut these pages. Or if I don't want the holes, I can hide them. But I do one page at a time. After I'm done with that page, I hide it, then open the next, cut it. Most of my square pages in between, I just took to my paper cutter and trimmed off an inch because that made it quick and easy to use them. So when I'm done with that page, I cut the next one, and so forth until all of them are all done. You hide the ones that you're not going to cut. You show the ones you are going to cut. So are there any questions about this?
The only question really has been, other than that one about the holes, if you wanted to make sure they fit on the inside paper, was two people asked, are you going to post this in the gallery?
You know what, I may do that, and the reason I may do it this time, I usually don't want to because I want you all to make it, right? But the reason that I will is I have not yet posted a tutorial, printable tutorial, and I know everybody's going to ask, but I have a very busy week and I might not get it written. So hopefully we'll have this video posted so you can see how to do it. You could do your own shape. It doesn't have to be scalloped. It could just be circles, or it could be squares, or it could be triangles or diamonds, whatever you'd want to do. I'd love to see some variations of this made using, I have already posted this in some places. I put a title on it called Granny's Girls, but you can put any title you want, so I didn't do a title for it, but just use your text and font, select a font, and type the text you want. If you want a name to it, I won't post it to the gallery, but I'll post it in my MTC Toots group, and then hopefully you'll be inspired to do it. And as I'm getting ready to go teach a music camp for a couple weeks, so I won't be too available for the next few weeks. So I'll post this in my group as a free download, and then I hope you guys will make some of your own so I can have more of a different styles. Wouldn't that be exciting to have everybody make a different kind of tabbed book?
Yeah, so they have several thank yous. One of the questions that came on earlier was what version of Make the Cut did that wrap text to, or excuse me, wrap objects to path come in, and because it wasn't working for them, but for other people, that wrap objects to path feature came in version 3.2.0 of Make the Cut. So it's a relatively recent version of that.
Right, if you don't have the newest version, you need to get it, even if you can't cut from it, because you can always export to SVG and cut to the cutter that you have with the software that you have for it, or print a PDF. And I'm using Make the Cut 3.2.1, which is the most recent one that we have available. And the wrap object to path is a very powerful feature of this software, and it's very worth learning how to do it. Now, I'm going to show you again. Let me go back to this page here. It doesn't work unless you have selected the smaller object first, then press the Control key and hold the Control key down and drag. And then once you see the cursor change as you cross over the line of the image behind it, that's where you get the wrap function. Then let go and it opens. So if you haven't had any success before, you should give it a try again, because it can help you put any kind of shape on a circle. So what if I wanted to do, what if I didn't want circles but I wanted a triangle instead? Maybe I'll do this asteroid, and I want to wrap it around a circle. I would just, again, click on it to select it first, then press the Control key, then drag, and the cursor changes. Then you want to change the offset so that it's overlapping the way you want it, and then that's the vertical alignment. Then you can repeat to your heart's content. Now, this design is going to need a minus overlap, maybe 0.3. And I can make me a little spiked ball. Isn't that cute?
Very nice.
And then you can just weld it all together and have a whole different kind of tab. Or you could use this for the start of a summer sun fun in the sun design. So you should try a number of different shapes in doing that wrap object. The object is the small thing, and the path is the big thing that you're wrapping it around. But sometimes I had trouble with it. I have to remember, select first, then hold down the Control key, and then drag.